So the story goes, I don't remember this because I was only 2.5 years old. They gave me a quarter for standing and playing with the band. And first thing I did was I immediately put it in the F hole on the string bass, because thinking it was like a jukebox, where you put the quarter in and you get more music out. And it took the guy like 5 minutes of shaking his bass side to side to get the quarter out of there, and he had to get it out because it rattled when he played his bass. So, but that's kind of what a early style Polish band. And this was from in '56 when this picture was taken. This kind of band was almost totally dying out. I mean, by the end of the '50s, this kind of band was gone.
To explain what a polka is a peppy, happy dance in 4/4 or 2/4 meter. So there's 4 counts to a measure, and it gets people out on the dance floor.
The 1850s also brought polka to Nebraska as Czechs fled worsening economic conditions. Drawn to the Midwest by the promise of farmland, these immigrants settled in Nebraska, establishing new communities and bringing new traditions like polka.
Life. So, for example, from my grandfather, I learned a bunch of songs that have no names, but for example, one we call the House to the Church polka because it just doesn't have any other name. Back in the old days when they had weddings, there were no halls back in those little towns in Nebraska. They would go out to the farm and they'd build a platform, a wooden platform for dancing out at the home of the bride. And then the horse and buggy would go out to get the bride from her house, and the band would follow along in a horse-drawn wagon behind the bride and the wedding party from the house. And they would take the bride from the country, out in the country on the farm, back to the church. So this particular song that he taught me was the song that they used for that trip. That's why we call it the House to the Church polka.
I can give you a cliche on what polka is. And what Big Joe used to say is polka music is happy music for happy people. What I'll tell you is polka music, to me, brings happiness out in me when I see other people happy.